Hold on. I'm going to mute the mics real quick before we get started. So I can actually screen share this thing over. Yep. Alrighty. We are screen shared over to the next screen. Just going to do a quick mic check real quick to get started. Yo. All right. Let's see. I think just try doing a quick mic check because I need to see if you could speak into it and if it outputs the sounds. So
are you using a computer?
Yes, I'm using a computer. Okay, it's picking up on your voice.
All right.
So yeah, that's what it seems like it's doing right now. All right. So we are live here on this podcast, and I'm fucking hyped for it. All right. Let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So if you guys haven't met him before, this is Shoes of a Champion, and he is doing a podcast for the first time ever, and we're going to have him here live on the Nomadic Cole YouTube channel. So I'm going to plug it real quick to start us up. If you guys haven't already, be sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, share, and of course, subscribe for motherfucking more. And yeah, we're going to have a talk about some combat sports, some politics, and, just some other stuff that's going on in the world right now, So where do you want to start?
All right, start with UFC this coming weekend.
Oh yeah, you hyped for Alex Chama Pereira to take stage?
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped for it. Though I would say it's the matchup is kind of bizarre. The number 8 ranked light heavyweights fighting for the title, but it's combat sports. Anything can happen.
Yeah,
but I got my money on Peloton.
Yeah, I've definitely would be putting my money on Pereira as well. I just think he's just has a better record than Khalil Roundtree. Okay, we're talking about the guy who head kick knocked out one of the toughest son of a bitches in the UFC, Yuri Prohashka. And he's taking on Khalil Roundtree, which, don't get me wrong, he's a great kickboxer. Even Pereira, he respects the power coming back, and he was talking about respecting Khalil Roundtree in the press conference that happened earlier this morning. So, it could be a very close fight, and I definitely say that Khalil Roundtree has a puncher's chance. But his last win is a close third round TKO against Anthony Smith compared to Yuri Prohashka.
Yeah, that is true. Anthony Smith's like his toughest opponent, Roundtree's toughest opponent so far. And Anthony Smith, he's proven to be a mid-carder. The biggest thing he's ever done so far was, go the distance with John Jones.
Yeah, well, there's a reason.
Other than that, what's that?
I said, well, there's a reason he's number 8.
Yeah, that's true.
He's just
plus he's been in the UFC since like 2014, I think.
Yeah,
he's been in UFC for a while, but he's always just been like a mid-carder. I haven't really seen enough of him.
Yeah,
Alex Pereira, the guys. Oh, go on.
No, I was just saying I agree.
Oh, you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
I just think Pereira. He's proven against tougher competition.
Yeah, and what do you think about Jose Aldo's fight coming up?
I think that'll be pretty good. I mean, Although he looked pretty good in his last fight. I forgot exactly who he fought, but yeah, that kind of surprised me, like his performance.
Yeah,
Because I kind of thought he was
I was
washed, but
impressed by his
I think
performance.
he still got it.
I was
Yeah,
impressed by his.
I was pretty impressed by it.
Yeah, but
I think I wouldn't mind. Since UFC is trying to build up and coming prospects like Rojas. I wouldn't mind if we got Rojas versus Jose Aldo.
oh yeah, I think
I think Jose Aldo would.
would win though.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, Rojas.
Just
I mean, come on, like kid's dumb.
the guy's fought bum.
Kid's like 19 years old that he's already got the worst CTE. Guy,
Yeah, that's unheard of.
guy's crazy.
You could tell the guy. You could tell the guy he's been punched in the head his whole life. The guy's only 19.
Yeah,
And he looks like I don't know, he looks he's a very unique looking guy. I'll say that.
I did a video a while back on Raw Rojas. I don't know if you remember it, but it was fucking hilarious because I was like imitating Raw Rojas's voice of him being interviewed after a fight.
Right. Prospects. I think I remember that. Was it the video game? Was it you were like playing WWE?
No. It was just like I don't know. You have to go back and watch it. This shit's funny.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Shit was hilarious.
Huh.
Yeah.
These prospects.
So you're.
Oh, I think Aldo.
Yeah, go for it.
I think Aldo. I wouldn't mind if they they brought him up and had him take on like fucking O'Malley. I think he'd still beat up O'Malley.
Yeah, he'd wail on O'Malley. He'd hurt O'Malley. It might be
like I don't know if Aldo's probably like all those obviously got the advantage on the ground.
Yeah.
O'Malley, I mean, he's only been on the ground once and he tapped.
Aren't we supposed to see those two Dagestani guys fight soon? It's gonna be a very boring fight.
Yeah, Islam and I forgot. I don't even Arman. I think his name is. Yeah, I'm not too excited about that fight. I mean, I'll watch it. It's a title fight, but I'm not too excited about it.
Win, honestly. I think he's a more skilled fighter.
Yeah, I think Islam's gonna win.
I mean, you saw what he.
I haven't seen.
You saw what he did to fucking what's his face? The Australian guy, little guy.
Volkanovski.
Yeah, Volkanovski.
Yeah. I hated those fights.
Yeah, you saw what he did to.
I think Volkanovski.
I
think Volkanovski won the first fight.
Yeah, I think it was close. I agree with you. I think Volkanovski, he really did have like, he took advantage of his puncher's chance and he knocked him down like 3 times in that fight. Volk was not knocked down a single time. He was taken down a couple times, like 2 of like the 3 times he was taken down in that fight. And it was frustrating. He just popped back up to his feet like a few seconds later, right? And then there's one time where like I think it was the first or second, I think, where he got held down for like most of the round. Like that was the only time to take.
Yeah, I remember that
anything.
Yeah, I think I don't know. That was like one round.
At the end of the fight, he had a takedown, and he was ground and pounding him into the mat.
Yeah, I remember that. At the end of the 5th round.
That fucking that Islam one. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
that's insane.
I remember that. I was watching it live. Yeah, I was shocked when they announced him as a winner. Unanimously too. Like not one judge had Volkanovski winning.
Yeah,
I was
shocked.
Bizarre.
Bad judges, man. Terrible judges.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then
but yet Strickland's recent fight with Paulo Costa. I don't know how one judge had Costa winning, and the most Costa's ever done in that fight was like the first round. I would say he probably won, but like the next 4 rounds, Strickland clearly won.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think.
And don't get me started on Reyes versus Jones. That was a robbery.
Yeah, that was. Dominic Reyes had him dead to rights.
Yeah, for sure. But, John Jones, he's the GOAT, according to Dana White.
No. It's crazy
Yeah.
to see like Joe Rogan sometimes is glazing John Jones.
Yeah.
Like Joe Rogan. No, he's not. Chama is no much better than John Jones, honestly.
Shama, yeah. I mean, he's
Alex
had more exciting. He's been
much better.
He's been more entertaining for sure.
Yeah.
Like he's done like Alex Pereira. He's only had like 5 fights in the UFC so far. I think I may be wrong. Yeah, he hasn't had that. He hasn't even had like 10 fights in UFC. He's already had more memorable moments to me than John Jones.
Yeah, exactly. Like, dude,
Like John Jones, he's like
him fucking hit Adesanya with that fucking left hook, right? And it fucking hit him on his
he killed him. That was the end for Adesanya too. That like Pereira like figured him out.
Ever since.
Like ever since then, he's
not.
Adesanya's been downhill.
Well, actually, it wasn't even that. What it really was that took him downhill was Sean Strickland beating on him.
Yeah, that's true. The Strickland fight.
I would say that.
Adesanya did come back. Adesanya did come back and knock out Pereira, but I think that fight was scheduled way too soon.
Yeah.
That fight was only like 2 months later.
Yeah.
But I believe if they ever had a third UFC fight, technically their 5th fight, Adesanya doesn't like to acknowledge the kickboxing matches.
Yeah.
But like if they ever had like a third UFC fight, especially at 205, I got Peloton by knockout.
Well, Putin's just so much,
or even submission. I don't know.
He's just so much bigger than Adesanya. He's huge. The guy's fucking jacked.
And and the media doesn't really. The media like has this narrative that he's not really a grappler, but like he's a black belt in BJJ.
Batista, my guy.
Yeah, he's Brazilian. He's a black belt in BJJ.
Like Jose Aldo is too.
Yeah, he just never had to go to the ground so far.
Alex Pereira and Jose Aldo train together.
Do they? I know he trains with over Teixeira.
I wouldn't be surprised if he trains with Jose Aldo as well, because Jose Aldo in his own
I wouldn't be either.
And an even tougher division is a world-class kickboxer in his own right.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I mean,
these Brazilians.
UFC fight, man, it's gonna be intense. It's gonna be intense.
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped. Yeah. My dad's excited because he's like UFC and WWE's on Saturday. I could give 2 shits about WWE.
Yeah.
I don't think LA Knight is even on the upcoming pay-per-view. He's been like the last time he's had a pay-per-view match was when he won the US title, and then they left him off like last month's pay-per-view.
They had him fight like a squash match on SmackDown.
Yeah, some Indian jobber.
Yeah.
Some foreign jobber. I remember he fought last.
BFT and pinned him 1, 2, 3 center of the ring.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. This guy should be the fucking world champion, if you ask me.
LA Knight is
the guy's got way more charisma.
I think he's an amazing.
The whole fucking roster.
No, I think he's an amazing U.S. champion.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Bringing prestige to that.
For sure.
Because remember the last title
was
literally fucking Logan Paul, guys. The last title holder was literally Logan Paul. And Logan Paul is.
Well, I mean, as much as we shit on Logan Paul, I would say he's a fucking better U.S. champion than what's his face, Austin Theory.
Austin Theory. Okay, Austin Theory, man, he's like a knockoff Miz, my guy. He's like
he's boring.
PG knockoff Miz, and his moves all are trash.
Yeah,
And how they put this guy over John Cena, that was insane.
I was kind of bizarre. I remember that WrestleMania. That was the last WrestleMania, a year ago, 2023. What was that, 39? I think. I watched it at the time. I watched it live because I was giving WWE a chance. At that point, I was sick of the NFL. All the woke shit, all the mumble rapper shit in the NFL. I was sick of that. I was sick of the woke shit from like TV shows that I used to watch, like Arrow and shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I was also watching UFC at the time, boxing. So I was like, you know what? I'll just give WWE a chance. So I was like, Roman, I never cared for him for years, but he has size. At least he's not like, the yes man or CM Junk.
Yeah,
and Cody Rhodes, it's like, I was never a huge fan of him, but I was like, hey, I remember him from the fuck were they called? Legacy.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'll give it a chance, and it sucked. Both of them sucked. Neither of them could cut a promo. And then I watched like LA Knight stuff, and it's like, that's what a wrestler should be like. That's a main eventer, not these two boring jabronis. If you threw Roman and Cody in any other era, they'd fail. You threw them in the Attitude Era, the Classic Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era, they'd be jobbers. Or just fucking lower mid-carders. Roman's got as much charisma as fucking Bull Buchanan.
He's
the Smarks like to, the Smarks like to praise him like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I don't get it.
So long. He's boring. Okay, all he is just a big guy. He just stands there and he's like, "Oh, me Roman Reigns, me angry."
Yeah, he's just
that's his character.
He's just a big angry guy. You take away his physique. You take that away. You take away his size.
Athleticism.
There's nothing left. And like even his in ring, I'm not really I'm not like these Smarks that care too much about in-ring ability, but in-ring work, it is
it's
secondary to character.
Yeah.
And his in-ring work it's nothing special. He does a spear, not even a great spear.
Yeah.
And he does a stupid flying clothesline. They call it the Superman punch.
Yeah.
And he looks fake as fuck.
Well, it's not even a real Superman punch because we all know that it is George St. Pierre who basically is the founder of that move. And Roman Reigns does not do it anywhere similar to the way that George St. Pierre would do it. No, I get it. It's wrestling, okay? They like to exaggerate the movement and make it look like, oh, he's leaping so high into the air and crashing down with his fist. And I've seen the move done in person, and it just doesn't look that good. It just doesn't look that impressive. I think it's like a little overhyped as well. And it's just like, it's fake at this point. Kayfabe's dead. So, like, why would I want to watch this when I could watch something like UFC or boxing where it's real? And the characters are getting increasingly shittier. With Roman Reigns, his character is, they drag out the storylines for so long with him, and he's so boring that he says the same things over and over again. His catchphrases all suck. They're all garbage. And nobody likes nobody likes him. He's generic as hell. And he's trash. He's trash.
Yeah, I agree. Like I never cared for the guy in the first place. I didn't really before I really opened my eyes and shit with wrestling that, like charisma and characters, that's what really matters in wrestling, not your size. There are plenty of big guys that sucked in the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era. Every era has had big guys that sucked, Snitsky, like Luther Reigns,
Vladimir Kozlov,
fucking Nathan Jones, Vladimir Kozlov. There's been plenty of big guys that never had it. Yeah, Great Khali.
Yeah.
I don't care that he beat The Undertaker. The guy was boring.
Yeah, and
he was just he was just a big tall guy.
Yeah, they made him a dancing guy. It was so stupid.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they made him a goof.
He was dancing with fucking.
They made him a goof
and Brodus Clay.
Like, I hate that shit. I hate that they did that shit. But like, I could actually, I don't know, I hate to say it, but like I kind of understand why WWE tried to make him a goof, because like his angry monster heel character probably got stale and boring.
Yeah, and it wasn't fooling.
So they tried to throw something in there. They tried to throw something in there that, I don't know, I guess give him personality,
because he's the goofy guy.
yeah,
They
that
made him a joke.
kind of, that made him even more of a joke. But at least they tried to do something with him, like throw personality at him, even though it was goofy.
Yeah.
But like, it failed. Didn't go anywhere. Just made him like a meme.
Yeah. I think the other thing that I would say as well is with these types of guys, like you have to have like a character, You have to have like something going for you. And it has to kind of actually work out. And it doesn't often work out. So you need to actually try and build a character that the fans will like. And unfortunately, the wrestlers just don't have that. They don't have it anymore. They have these boring, stale characters that, like, they're generic, and none of them know how to do the mic skill because nobody teaches that in wrestling school anymore, apparently. They just teach you moves and shit.
Yeah.
And I think the fan base as well has, I think wrestling has changed for how people view it, because the casual fans are gone, and most of the fans now are like neckbeards on Reddit and like nerds and virgins,
Yeah, it's a bunch of smarks.
Like people who just didn't grow up,
Just a bunch of children that were, I guess, bullied in school, and like they look at wrestling as like, it's like, oh, it's cool. It's like, no, it's not cool. Like, it's not cool anymore. It's not. We're not in the late '90s anymore. Wrestling used to be cool. Now with all these, thanks to fucking CM Punk, that's another guy I want to rant about. But thanks to him, wrestling has turned into this fucking, work rate mark fest. That's another reason why Roman gets praised, is because like he's not a work rate guy. So like all like the anti-smarks, they praise him for that, but it's like he's not fooling me. I don't fall under that category. I'm just a guy that, I'm more of a UFC fan though. I watch UFC. I don't watch wrestling as much. I just watch like old wrestling. But like, I just care about like LA Knight because like the guy is like,
he's talented.
The guy's like, the guy's a throwback.
He should be absolutely a top tier guy, and now he's not even going to be on the next pay-per-view, and he just won the United States Championship, and all you're going to give him is you're just going to feed a jobber to him? Come on, man.
Yeah, that makes no sense. Like Cody, Roman, their spot, it should be LA Knights. The guy's just a million times better than both of them. Both of them will ever be.
Yeah.
But like for whatever reason, I guess Triple H, he just has his. I guess he has his yes men, and he has he's become a mark. So he has these work rate guys like Cody and shit. Is Cody even a work rate guy? He's like his move set's like not that great.
He kind of does like the work rate shit, but you saw more of it when he was in AEW. I think more of the work rate stuff because he was like trying to put over anyone who would wrestle with him, I guess. Like he tried to make everyone look good all the time, which was like, I know it.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Cody Rhodes, you're supposed to be the fucking man, the top babyface of the company, the fucking, the TNT champion or whatever back. Like this was a while back, and you're having a competitive match against Sony Kiss for 20 minutes. This little scrawny 135-pound fucking pansexual. Are you fucking shitting?
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he is. I don't know what the fuck Sony Kiss is. What
I would just call them a pansexual. It seems like because that's like the most accurate term, right? That's like the politically correct thing to say. I would say. I mean, it makes sense. It fits the bill.
It does.
Either that or
it's like
flamboyant gay dude.
Yeah, a fucking cross-dresser.
Very, very strange.
Cross-dresser. It's like yeah, wrestling's fake.
Basically,
You know, it's like
basically a drag queen cheerleader is basically Sonya Tuss.
basically, like you know, we know wrestling's fake and shit, but it's like at least try to keep fake like kayfabe. At least try to keep it consistent. I know it's a different.
There's no reason why the top baby face of your company, who is simultaneously a champion in any division, should be having a competitive match against someone who wrestles on dark matches.
Yeah, that just devalues like the TNT. None of the AEW titles have any prestige on them. Like none of them. I guess the AEW World title, I guess, was somewhat prestigious when Jericho held it. Ever since then, though, every other champion has sucked.
Yeah.
Like, and the TNT title, like, I don't know, from the beginning, I don't think the TNT title was ever. I guess Christian and Edge held the TNT title. That's about it.
Yeah.
Like none of those titles have any prestige on it whatsoever.
I mean, even then, like AEW right now, they're trying to do this Christian Edge storyline, and that's something that I've talked about here on the channel before. Is that I said Edge is killing his career in AEW, because nobody's gonna fucking watch him. Okay, I'm sorry, Edge does not bring me over to watching AEW. And granted, I've taken a peek at what Christian is doing over there, and I think they are undervaluing Christian by having him go. The problem with AEW is
he dropped to the Yes Man.
The problem that with AEW,
he dropped to fucking.
He dropped.
Oh, go on.
And I was gonna bring that up, but the problem with AEW right now is that yes, Christian is doing great shit on the fucking mic. I love the whole fucking, I fucked your mom character that Christian is putting on. It's a great heel character. It's a good act, and it's Christian, so he has the charisma to back it up. But then he goes into long competitive matches with Joey Janela and fucking Jungle Boy Jack Perry. And then after that, loses to Daniel Bryan, another 150-pound jobber. I don't care if he won a fucking world title in WWE.
Yeah, it's fake.
With a broken
that shit's
arm.
It's fictional. That shit's fake.
He looks, you saw Daniel Bryan and he walked into a public pool, you'd think he was a homeless guy who got lost.
Yeah, for sure. You that like a pro wrestler, that's the last thing you'd ever think he was if you saw him walk into a fucking public pool. If he took his shirt off, if he took his shirt off, you wouldn't, you would assume he's just some homeless guy. The guy has nothing, like the guy has no muscle at all.
Oh,
I know if there's any smarks listening to this video and y'all say, "Oh, you want hot bodies and shit." No, it's not gay and shit. It's just, wrestling is, we're supposed to be convinced that wrestling's real, and wrestlers should look a certain way. They should look like they can kick your ass. It's not it's not gay or anything. I'm like,
look,
that's just wrestling.
You're trying to portray a sport that is as ancient as Roman times, right? The only difference with pro wrestling is that it's scripted and fake. And the scripted part is done on purpose because it being scripted is supposed to make for storylines which can be portrayed for the entertainment of the fans because it brings the fans in to watch. This was very well explained by Vince Russo, not Dave Meltzer. Fuck that guy. He's trash.
Yeah.
And by the way, I want to talk about Dave Meltzer real quick because Dave Meltzer apparently said that recently. He said that MJF is going to reach the level of The Rock.
All right, I don't mind MJF, but like he's a mid-carder. The guy's
I don't think he's bad.
Cruiserweight.
I don't think he's terrible, but he is on AEW and he is treated like garbage on that product. By the way, he's trash. He's a mid-carder. A mid-carder. And there's like...
Yeah, I agree.
there's, you know, he's great. He's great on the mic, but he's 5'6". Okay. Now, if he was in like MMA, this wouldn't be a problem. Okay. Fucking Frankie Edgar's 5'6" too. You know what I mean? But this is WWE.
But plus MMA too, they have weight classes. It's real, and they have weight classes. They fight guys all around their size. Like they're not gonna have like fucking Mighty Mouse go up against fucking Francis Ngannou. You'll never see that happen in an MMA fight. Small guys in UFC, yeah, they're marketable. A lot of my favorite fighters are in the lighter weight classes.
Yeah.
In UFC.
Conor McGregor.
Yeah, Conor McGregor, Volkanovski.
Yeah.
Poirier.
It's just
Max Holloway, BJ Penn.
It's a little bit of a hindrance when you're on wrestling where you're fighting trained bodybuilders that are 250 pounds and 6 feet plus tall. Now, granted,
exactly.
MJF, he's got a great physique too, but he's small, and he will definitely appear small. This is why he's probably not going to be on WWE time ever. I think WWE
probably
they see the talent, but they're like, yeah, but he's 5'6" and he's going to look like a midget next to like The Miz, for example.
Yeah, true.
It's just not going to be believable. I guess. I
mean,
WWE did stranger to putting over jobbers. They have. I just don't think they're going to do it.
I mean, WWE did put the fucking world title on
Daniel Bryan.
Bryan Danielson.
That's what I'm saying. They're not a stranger to putting over jobbers or small people. But I just don't think it's going to happen because they haven't already made the move at all. They easily could. Nick Khan just got to give up a little call to Tony Khan and be like, hey, about our secret merger, let's go ahead and do this, MJF going to WWE thing. That would sell a lot of tickets. Then again, Nick Khan
for sure
MJF to just stay on AEW because he wants AEW to compete with WWE, so he has two sources of income still.
That's true. Like MJF's like one of the other than the old guys like Sting, Christian, Edge, like AEW, Jericho.
Nostalgia.
AEW doesn't, all their younger guys, their newer guys, like they're not marketable. MJF's like the only one.
Yeah.
The only one they really have
to get over. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. But like MJF, like he's not like he's a good mid carder, but he's not like an LA Knight. LA Knight's he's like a special talent. That's a fucking main eventer right there. MJF, he's just he's like a Miz. Like Miz is like he's pretty good on the bike as a heel.
He might win an undercard title.
Yeah,
Intercontinental or something.
IC at best.
Yeah.
At best, IC title.
Yeah.
Well, he's not. He's like the Miz. Like the Miz is another one. He's not really he should have never been a world champion.
Right.
He's like a Disco Inferno. He's like a comedy mid carder.
Yeah, I think
that's how I see MJF. He's like another Miz.
Yeah, I think he's not. Yeah, he's not gonna be the greatest thing since sliced bread anytime soon. And I just don't see him surpassing The Rock. Okay, is MJF ever gonna be in a movie anytime soon? And I'm not talking about some B movie because we all seen fucking wrestlers get thrown into B movies and random documentaries all the time. I'm talking about, is he going to be a star of a main level Hollywood movie? No. So
Meltzer, if
MJF is at his prime right now, which he is, he's like 25, right? He doesn't have any more room to grow, and he's only got time to go downhill from here. And he will if he stays on AEW.
Yeah, that's true.
If he goes to WWE, maybe his career gets heightened over the next couple of years.
Maybe. But the thing is with WWE,
when he stays on the indies and he's just, nobody's going to give a shit about him. He's going to be that guy.
That's true. But think about,
who was in a few memes.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing is, if MJF did go to WWE, you know how WWE. I mean, AEW is like that too. But you know how WWE is. They're very political.
Yeah.
Like there's certain guys that they handpicked to like be pushed to the moon. Guys, guys like Roman, Cody, Seth Rollins. Fucking Gunther for whatever reason. The guy's currently a world champion. Gunther.
It's
Who
trash.
the fuck is Gunther?
He's basically
Even his name alone is just generic.
He's basically Vladimir Kozlov, but with Down syndrome.
With Down syndrome, like the Smart Buster said.
Yeah.
the guys just fuck. Vladimir Kozlov failed, so they're trying to recreate him with a fat guy. Because at least Vladimir Kozlov, he kind of had a physique.
Oh, I know what it is. WWE's response to AEW having Miro.
Basically, I guess just a guy from
I feel like
European country that hates America.
AEW, Rusev would be in Gunther's shoes right now.
Probably.
Because they're
WWE does love their fucking foreign heels.
Yeah.
Probably. WWE, I don't know, for whatever reason, they love these. They always want to, like, they always like having this, like, European heel that, like, hates America.
Yeah.
It's like that gimmick is, like, that gimmick's old as fuck. That gimmick, it worked in the 80s because, it worked in the Hogan days. It doesn't work today. Yeah. I would say the closest, like, the best foreign heel we've seen from, like, since the Iron Sheik was, like, Muhammad Hassan. He was very underrated.
Yeah. But he was a little bit,
like, during, like, the early 2000s.
He was a little bit too edgy because of 9/11.
What?
I said, but he was a little bit too edgy.
Yeah, that's true.
Because 9/11 happened.
Oh, I think WWE was pretty cowardly to drop the gimmick because of 9/11.
Yeah.
Not 9/11 because of the London bombings in 2005.
Yeah.
That was kind of cowardly to drop the whole thing.
Yeah. But I mean,
it was like Muhammad Hassan
surrounded in controversy, you know.
Yeah, it was at 9/11 and shit. That's why he was so hated. Like the guy, I'm currently binge watching the Ruthless Aggression era again, and the guy had fucking nuclear heat. The guy had like
everyone.
The guy had the Smarks. The Smarks like to say, "Oh, Dirty Dom is like Dirty Dom's got heat." It's like
he would have been great.
It was nothing compared to the heat Muhammad Hassan had.
Yeah.
What was that?
I said Muhammad Hassan. I mean he would have been great for Super Cena to just bury really easily like that.
No, I wouldn't want to see that. That's First of all, Super Cena was trash, and it helped kill wrestling. It helped make wrestling. It helped lead wrestling to the path it is today. They've been tanking ever since the rise of Super Cena.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was
Super Cena
factors other than Super Cena though that kind of led to the downfall of PG.
Well, Super Cena also helped lead to the pipe bomb. And the Smarks, the remaining wrestling fans, started overhyping CM Junk because he's standing up to Super Cena because we're all sick and tired of Super Cena.
Yeah.
So that's what like exaggerated the hype of the pipe bomb and shit because of Super Cena. It all leads to like the rise of Super Cena.
That's reasonable logic. Because everyone got bored of Super Cena, except for the little kids who loved Super Cena.
Exactly. You were like what, 5 around that time? I was like
on the pipe bomb.
I was like
5. I was a little bit older than that.
Were you? Yeah, I was like around. I was at that age already where I was at that age by the time I went there. I was like, wrestling's fake. Plus, I was watching TNA, and TNA was way fucking better at the same time.
Then, yeah.
TNA was like, it was like the Attitude Era, while WWE is like this kid-friendly, goofy kid show where they just fucking relied on Super Cena and I don't know, just Super Cena and fucking CM Junk.
Yeah.
And, I guess they had Randy Orton, but he was never like they always kept Randy Orton under Super Cena's shadow.
Yeah, and then everyone else was just
and they had
just a mid card in the background.
Everyone else sucked during that era. I mean, there were guys who had potential like Jack Swagger. Yeah. The guy had a good Real Americans gimmick was great,
but he was
that's
underrated.
That's about it.
Yes, I guess.
Yeah, he was very underrated. He could have been great.
What's that guy? Alex Riley.
Yeah, Alex Riley. That's not Alex Riley. He could have been great. He had a great gimmick. He was great on the mic. like Super. That's another guy. Super Cena buried him. Thanks to Super Cena, Alex Riley didn't amount to anything. Even though the guy was money. The guy, even Ryback said it on his podcast.
Yeah.
Alex Riley, the guy was money. The guy could have been great.
Man. He was money. Drake Dragon over here in the chat says WWF was in my age. For some reason, it was on Sci-Fi.
Sci-Fi.
Yeah. Well, back
I don't remember it being on Sci-Fi.
WWF was on Sci-Fi.
How old's this guy?
Drake Dragon? He's like, I think he's in his 30s or around there.
Oh. I didn't even know it was on Sci-Fi. I remember it being on Spike and UPN.
Yeah. Well, I guess when he was watching, it was on Sci-Fi. They might have had a short stint.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Probably.
Yeah, that was WWF, man. They were the shit back then.
Yeah, those were the days.
As I'm 40.
Like I grew up in the ruthless.
I was.
Oh, he's 40.
I was kindly underestimating your age. I apologize. Yeah.
So you saw wrestling at its peak then.
Yeah,
the Attitude Era.
2002 to 2010 era. He's so Ruthless Aggression to the early PG
Ruthless
era.
Aggression era.
To the early PG era.
To the 2010, that was around the time I was getting over WWE. At that point, I was watching TNA more because they had a whole lot better stuff going on there.
Yeah, I think they were briefly. I think they were on Sci-Fi. I think that was during the PG era, most likely, like the early PG.
Oh, during the PG era.
I think that was during the.
Yeah, I know.
PG era.
I know in the Ruthless Aggression era, Raw was on Spike and SmackDown was on UPN. I don't remember what channels it was on the PG era. I think I remember one of the shows was on USA Network, I think.
Yeah. I think it was Raw or
I don't remember.
Something like I think it was Raw.
Yeah, Raw might have been. There's my dad used to watch wrestling every week around that time. He watched Raw, SmackDown, and the TNA. I just watched mostly TNA most of the time.
Yeah.
It was just better.
It was just
no Super Cena, no Santino, no fucking CM Punk, all these jobbers, the Yes Man. I'm glad I missed out on that shit though. I'm glad I wasn't around when the Yes Man had his fucking, his Cinderella story.
Yeah, I think that was just cringe when they put over Daniel Bryan.
I remember when I first discovered Daniel Bryan, I remember we were in high school and shit, and you told me about him, and then around 2020-ish, I was it was during COVID and shit, so my dad put on WrestleMania.
Yeah.
At the time in 2020. And here's this homeless looking guy with a beard.
Fighting another homeless looking guy.
Doing the whole yes shit.
Yeah.
And, I didn't know anything about him. And then, then I found out this guy was a former world champion.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? Wrestling's really fallen that low?
Fallen far, man. It's not the same as it used to be, my guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Not anywhere close.
One of the only things I like about WWE is that they have the Peacock Network. It used to be WWE Network, where you can watch any show ever is on there. Every Raw ever, every Nitro ever is on there. So since 2020, I've been binge watching, the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
The Ruthless Aggression Era. And I'm also currently binge watching WCW, which I missed out on. And now I'll say, that I used to be a Ruthless Aggression Era guy, but after watching the Attitude Era was better.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you
hands down
put to rest the controversy by rewatching.
What's that?
You put to rest the controversy of Ruthless Aggression Era versus Attitude Era.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, that's because up until then I only watched clips of the. I wasn't even born I was born in 2000, so I wasn't even old enough to watch wrestling when the Attitude Era was going on. I started watching wrestling in the Ruthless Aggression Era. So over the years, that was my standard of wrestling until I got WWE Network and now Peacock. and I watched through the Attitude Era. I didn't only watch WWF, I also watched WCW side, and hands down, the Attitude Era is the best period of wrestling.
Yep.
I would say like I kind of lean more towards WCW now because I'm a huge DDP fan now, and like the NWO and like Goldberg. I'm a bigger fan of those guys now than the WWF guys at the time. So the WWF, they did have Rock and Austin, but like DDP is like my favorite wrestler ever now. After like watching WCW, he was just fucking cool.
And he was charismatic.
He was he was charismatic. LA Knight, who's the best. I don't give a fuck what these smarks say if there's any smarks watching. LA Knight's the best wrestler alive today. Like DDP reminds me a lot of LA Knight.
And you can't beat that.
Just the charisma. The promo level. I don't give a fuck what WWE says. I don't like WWE never mentions DDP because he's a WCW guy, but the guy was up there. The guy was over. The guy was like, he was one of the most over guys like during the Attitude Era.
Yeah. I agree. I think he was really a really solid wrestler during that WCW era. Back on the Monday Night Nitro, he was just, he was iconic.
Yeah, for sure. And it's thanks to him that we have the RKO. The RKO was heavily inspired by the Diamond Cutter.
Well, the RKO is the Diamond Cutter. Drake Dragon.
It's similar. It's like,
Drake Dragon said.
I mean, it's a cutter. It's the same move, but like the way they deliver it is a little different.
Yeah.
Like DDP, like Orton, he jumps higher when he does it, and like DDP, kind of like he doesn't really jump as high as Orton does when he does the RKO.
Yeah.
But it's the same move, just a different delivery, I guess.
Yeah. Just a different variation.
Like I like Randy. Like Randy Orton's one of my favorite wrestlers, but like he owes his career to DDP.
Yeah, basically.
He's the Diamond Cutter.
Drake Dragon says, "Fight, fight, fight." Guess what, man?
Trump reference?
Yeah, it's a Trump reference.
Yeah, I agree. Fight.
Guess what?
You guys don't know I'm a Trump guy. I'm with Trump all the way. I'm sick of all the woke shit. I'm sick of Biden. I'm sick of Kamala Harris. I'm sick of these gas prices and these fucking just all the woke shit being pushed in elementary schools and shit and just all the woke shit. I'm sick of it. So I'm with Trump all the way.
We gotta hate on the woke, man. They're the SJWs, bro.
For sure.
Garbage. And they're brainwashed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are. Yeah.
Well, guess what?
Fucking SJWs.
Yeah.
They're you want to know what I call the SJWs? I call them dummies.
Yeah.
Dummies. Yeah.
Dummies. Yeah.
I can't stand them.
Yeah, they're trash.
I can't stand them. You can't watch a movie. You can't watch a movie these days without any like woke shit being sprinkled into it. There always has to be a gay character. There always has to be like a race swap character. There always has to be like a fucking unnecessary fucking 3-minute long scene of like two gay dudes kissing or fucking.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why is that necessary? Why do we need that shit in our movies? We're just trying to be entertained, not fucking, I don't use my language. Like we're sick of this shit. We're sick of this fucking, this woke shit being fucking sprinkled into our movies.
Yeah, I think it's
like
it's unnecessary.
It pissed me off.
It's out of line and it's out of pocket, my guy. Like it's just crazy. It's crazy. And guess what? I'm just gonna make you happy because for today's stream, I am wearing the fuck Joe Biden hat. Let's go, Brandon. Yeah. We hate Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Joe Biden.
Yeah, we can't fucking stand
Joe Biden today. Speaking of him, I don't know if you heard, but a reporter went up to him and asked him about the Hurricane Helen situation because you know what happened over there, right? Hundreds of people are dead. Over 200 people are dead now, apparently. And there's still hundreds more in the rural country in Carolina, South Carolina, and Florida and Georgia in the South. And Joe Biden forgot that there was a hurricane. He forgot. They asked him about the hurricane, and he said, "What storm? Oh, I forgot what storm you're talking about." He's an idiot.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me.
He's old.
Just like
He's so old, do people actually think this guy's running the country? No, it's crazy. And now apparently FEMA's too broke to help out with any more hurricanes, and all the people got is just like they did in Lahaina and Maui. They gave them a $700 stipend. The old classic, oh, something bad happened to you. Let's just give you guys just enough for 1 month's rent, and as a stipend, as a little stimulus check, like those coronavirus stimulus checks. And every time something bad happens, those come the people's way. And the people are just like left with nothing else. They don't fix anything else. They don't really, there's not much of an effort given back to try to restore the community. I mean, it's terrible. And it's because of corrupt people like Joe Biden who just, they're just terrible. They don't understand what the people need.
Yeah. Just like when a year ago when he addressed the fucking school shooting, he made a joke about ice cream.
Yeah.
Like, my name is Joe Biden. I'm only here because I heard they have some good chocolate chip ice cream.
After a school shooting.
Yeah, that's, I haven't seen the full speech, but like that's all I've seen. I don't know. Did he actually address the speech? I mean, did he actually address the shooting?
I mean,
after that,
vaguely, I guess. Like he muttered and stumbled and rambled on all about the shooting and about, oh, there's too many guns on the street or whatever. You know, the typical Democrat.
Oh, of course, yeah. Blame it on guns.
And he mumbled and fumbled and stumbled through it and made himself look like a clown.
Of course. Because every time there's anything to do with guns, you know, any shootings, even the Trump assassination, the left would jump right to that. You know, they jump right to that conclusion. We gotta ban guns. You know, they always jump. You know, they always find that opportunity to bring up gun control and shit.
Stupid.
It's like if you ban guns, there's you know, people are still gonna find a way to get them anyways.
Yeah, I mean they're already
illegally
in Chicago. They made it that way. It's pretty much almost impossible to get a gun legally in Illinois. And then guess what? All these street gangs still get their guns from the cartels that bring them in. They get automatic guns, you know? Uzis and shit. It's crazy.
Exactly. Like, plus, you know, we do need to protect ourselves.
Would like to blame it. Oh, well, Illinois is surrounded by red states like Iowa and Missouri who have more lax gun laws and they bring them in. No, because you're not going to get a fucking Uzi from going to Iowa and going to the gun store. You might get a hunting rifle, but that's not what these kids are grabbing. They're getting fucking Uzis. So where are they getting from? Well, where do the Crips get their weapons? Where do the Bloods get their weapons? They get it from the cartels.
Of course, you know, banning banning guns. All
isn't going to do.
All that's going to. Yeah, it isn't. All that's going to do is, you know, it's going to ban guns from like people who legally own guns, and you know, let's say, I don't know, if you ask me, like a store clerk and shit should be able to have like a gun on them, because you know if they get robbed and shit, they should be able to like, you know, defend themselves.
Yeah.
You take guns away and shit. You know, there's still gonna, you know, criminals are still gonna be getting access to guns, and they're gonna be, you know, there's still gonna be shooting places. That's not gonna solve anything. And like, you know, we're not like those that have guns legally won't be able to like go hunting and shit, or like, you know, if it's like hunting guns.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't know. We need guns for like hunting and shit. Or, like, I'm not gonna pretend like I know everything and shit. But, like, you know, like. I think a store clerk should be able to have a gun to like defend himself.
I agree.
In case he's getting robbed, or like even like bank tellers.
Yeah,
they should be able to have guns and shit. I mean, banks are like pretty secure and shit.
They have security.
But, like if shit hits the fan, you know. There's gonna be a bunch of dummies trying to rob stores and shit. They're gonna if you ask me, they should have guns.
Yeah.
To be able to fend off robbers.
Drake Dragon says we need to make America great again.
I agree. We do. America's in the toilet.
It's in the gutter right now, and we're heading towards World War III right now. You already heard about the attacks that Israel's done against Iran. Iran attacked Israel, obviously, but now Israel is trying to do a counterstrike.
Really, I haven't really been following what's been going on in
what
Israel.
What Israel did is they took out a bunch of Hamas terrorists, and they also killed a bunch of innocent bystanders as well by detonating a bunch of pagers that they secretly put bombs inside of. So then after that, Iran decided to send a bunch of rockets to Israel, and then the rockets, a bunch of them landed and made contact with their targets in Israel and killed a bunch of civilian targets and buildings. And then now Israel is trying to do a ground invasion in Lebanon, and then they're also going to strike back at Iran soon, and they want to do that with the U.S. military's help, because the U.S. military is already, they're already sending them out to deploy over to Israel and Iran anyways. Yeah, so they're trying to basically start World War III essentially in the Middle East.
And of course, Sleepy Joe wants to be fucking world police.
Yeah,
I don't know where does Biden stand again. I haven't been, excuse my ignorance. I don't really follow that much on the Israel war and shit. Where does Biden stand?
Biden is basically completely spineless, because what he'll do is he'll send out messages he'll depending on how people are feeling in his support, he'll kind of voice that out. So he'll go one day, if Israel is attacking Gaza, bombing some shit in Gaza, he'll be like, "Oh, Israel, you need to stop that. It's not nice." And then the next day he'll go, "Oh, but Israel needs its right to defend itself," whenever he's talking to a group of Jewish people, which is what the Democrats. It really seems like they don't realize how bad this Israel-Palestine thing is actually going to hurt them. And quite frankly, I do think that Donald Trump has a very strong chance to win this year, and I think a lot of the polls have Donald Trump. They're kind of undervaluing just how popular Trump is right now.
Yeah, I think it's just the left. They're trying to do all they can to spin this narrative. They're still going at the whole Trump is racist, he's a sexist, and they bring up the charges and shit of, oh, he's a criminal. They like to go to all of that shit. I think they're trying to fool us. They're still trying to fool us to if there's any swing voters and shit, they'll still try to spin those narratives and shit about Trump. Even though I think Trump has a lot of momentum, but the left doesn't want the left doesn't want you to know that. They're gonna try to sweep it under the rug and shit.
I'm getting completely different narratives from when you see the actual facts. When I go out onto the streets, dude, I see just random hobos and shit will be like, "Oh, we need Trump." It's just random people, just the regular people on the street understand, "Oh, we need Trump." You go to church, for example. You go to a church, everyone there likes Trump at the church, Everybody wants Trump.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, just the average Joe likes Trump right now because Joe Biden's doing such a horrible job, because their wallets are hurting because of the inflation from Donald Trump. Not from Donald Trump, from Joe Biden, from this administration that was brought on. I mean, we literally went into a recession in 2022, and what did Joe Biden decide to do? Well, instead of owning up to his failures and being like, "I'm sorry, guys, we are in a recession. We need to work out of this through smart economic policy and start to try to like rein in the spending budget." Instead, he decided to kick the can down the road and redefine what a recession is, so that way he can say, "Well, we're not in a recession technically," even though they spent nearly 2 semesters of time with declining GDP, and the economy has been slowing down because less people are buying. We surged a little bit from 2020, where nobody was out buying shit on the regular market outside, like to the mom and pop stores, and that caused a lot of them to lose a lot of money. And then inflation hit and caused mom and pops to struggle even more. So what did they do? They raised their prices. And in 2022, those prices had to be at their highest. It was crazy. And then after that, now the economy's trying to stabilize. But if we vote Joe Biden in, he's going to keep money printing, right?
Right.
Keep money printing. And it's going to inflate the dollar even more. He's going to try to put us in a war, which the world powers hope is going to somehow save us economically, because it will spark, the manufacturing industry again. But at what cost? You're going to kill a fuck ton of people going to a war that we don't need to be involved in. And the public will be happy about that. And it's going to spend a lot of money too. Because all the wars, people do profit a lot of money off war. Guess what? People pay a lot of war as well. And we're going to have to pay a lot of money trying to restart the manufacturing.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't understand how anybody is thinking that Donald Trump is worse at economic policy than Joe Biden, because that's where he's winning. And people who say otherwise, I think they're a goofball and an idiot. I think they haven't paid attention to history, because we were in a similar situation under the Jimmy Carter administration, when there was an economic downturn that he was involved in as well. It wasn't entirely his fault. Gas was being withheld from the United States, and it really hurt the economy and caused prices to skyrocket at the time, and it caused stagflation. And what got out of the stagflation? It was Ronald Reagan coming back and introducing trickle-down economics, which short-term sparked the economy again. And that's what we need right now. We need a short-term spark in the economy. We need to rein in spending and do a little bit of trickle-down economics and some tax cuts for the middle class.
Right.
Yeah. That's basically the Trump plan. That's basically the Trump economic plan.
Just people are fucking the people that aren't, the people that are saying they're voting for Scumala. I'm just gonna call it that, Scumala.
Yeah.
They're brainwashed. They're still listening to CNN, NBC, all these fucking news, ABC, all these news outlets. They're still listening to that old dirt sheets. They're listening to all these old ass fucking narratives that they've been pushing since like 2015. The Trump's a racist. Democracy's at stake. They listen to all those fucking old Karens, all those old irrelevant Karens on The View.
Yeah.
All those bitches like Whoopi Goldturd, Joy Behar. They listen to those bitches. They listen to those bitches whine and complain about Trump. Oh, democracy's at stake. Trump's a racist, and they like to say that. They always like to say that. If Trump wins, we won't have another election. We had a 2020 election.
Yeah.
Trump allowed a 2020 election. It's like, we're not stupid. We're like most normal people should be able to see through those lies.
Like, Did he not peacefully transfer the power after the 2020 election?
Yeah, exactly.
January 20th.
They'll say January 6th. It's like I don't really follow politics as much as you do, but like, what Trump had nothing to do with January 6th, from what I heard.
I think
right.
The main thing about January 6th is that Donald Trump really wasn't as much as fault with it, and it's more so he was, he rallied his fans, and then the fans themselves decided to go ahead and go over to the Capitol building. Majority of them actually were just peacefully protesting around the Capitol. Majority of them. There was a rambunctious few who went into the Capitol, but it was very interesting because there was two sides to it. And I watched a documentary on this really. There's two sides to it. On one side, they were blockading and barricading and doing everything in power to keep this wave of crowd people from coming over to the area where they believed that they were going to, all stand around the side of the Capitol building and listen to speeches. And then the police started throwing tear gas at them, and then certain individuals started breaking windows in the chaos in the mob rule, And then on the other side, you had people being let in by security guards, which you saw in Tucker Carlson's his playback of the video, that there's security guards waving in people and letting in people into the Capitol, and they were taking pictures. Everyone essentially incriminated themselves by taking pictures inside the building. And then what happened after? The FBI started going around to people's houses and started, arresting people and throwing them into jail, some of them without even a trial. So, yeah, I think it was, it wasn't really entirely Trump's fault at all for January 6th. They say, he was inciting violence, but you hear he said he wanted them to peacefully march on the Capitol. The citizens have a right to protest. The American citizens of this country have a right to see their representatives and give them a talking to in person or via letter or phone call, because we live in the modern age, right? And these are rights the American citizens have that were denied during this protest. And instead, what did the government do? They decided to incriminate regular citizens, including didn't even commit crimes. And it was crazy. I mean, I knew a guy who literally stood outside. He was an old man who stood outside the Capitol building on January 6th. He had a MAGA hat, and he was waving an American flag, and he was standing outside on the street, just listening to like a podcast on his phone while the protest was going on, while he watched it in the distance. And the FBI went to his house and questioned him.
Yeah, of course.
So, I mean, it's insane how much they really tried to play this up. But actually, it seems the real victims are the people who were there. And Ashley Babbitt, who got shot, of course, is like the main victim of the Jan 6th story.
Of course. The left, they just, they found January 6th, and they wanted they wanted to find something like
with Jan 6th.
They're desperate to find stuff on Trump. They're desperate to find shit to pin on Trump, so they find one little thing. I'm not calling January 6th a little thing, but you said most of them were peaceful, and there was this other side that's that was violent and shit.
There were some people inside who got rambunctious. Anytime you get a crowd this large, people are going to get rambunctious. Jail the people who got rambunctious. Yeah. Jail the people who committed the act of destroying government property. Jail the rabble-rousers who called for violence and were caught on tape, caught red-handed calling for violence at the Capitol. Jail that guy who said that we need to storm the Capitol, or jail the guy who said heads on pikes, get him a charge for conspiracy or something, right? But what about the average citizen? I don't think you need to go to the old lady who was standing outside the Capitol with an American flag, for any crime, especially if they were just protesting.
Yeah, exactly. But of course, they're gonna make it seem like that they're looking at the negative side. The violent protesters, and they're trying to make it seem like the whole protest. All the protesters were all a part of this fucking. All the violent and shit. Of course, the violence and shit. Of course, they want to. They want to look at it. They want to put that narrative out. It was. Because the way they make it seem like the way they make it seem like is as if there's these angry racist Trump supporters, all storming the Capitol and causing havoc. It's like, no, there were peaceful protesters, and then there are a few people that were
Rambunctious.
a bunch of dummies.
Yeah,
And of course there are a bunch of dummies.
I just used the term rambunctious.
Yeah. A bunch of course there are those dummies.
I consider,
but the left one.
I consider it a riot at the Capitol. I don't say it's a
riot at the Capitol.
You can't have an insurrection without guns. And I'm sorry, there's only 3 guns that were spotted on people at the Capitol, and guess what? None of those guns were fired during Jan 6th. The only shots that were fired were shot by the people who were the security in the Capitol, who shot Ashley Babbitt and killed her.
Of course, but they'll never bring that up. The way they won't bring that up. They're trying to bury that under the rug. They're trying like, it feels like they're trying to make it seem like, oh, these angry Trump supporters, they shot up the Capitol. Because I never heard, like, this is the first time I actually heard about the guns being shot by actually security and shit.
Yeah. Well, the Trump supporters didn't go to the Capitol. No, none of them. 3 of them were armed. 3 Trump supporters were armed. But guess what? None of them shot a single round. It was the security who shot around. Killed one of the protesters.
Yeah. Why won't they bring that up? They'll never bring that up.
It's the dirt sheet media. They lie all the time.
Yeah. What do you
think of RFK Jr.'s Maha movement joining the Make America Great Again movement?
I love it, Maggle. It's unity. That's a fucking unity. The left is they keep trying to tell us, oh, we're divided. Trump is dividing us. Trump is actually doing quite the opposite. You got a lifelong Democrat, and also another Democrat, Tulsi Gabbard, joining forces with Trump.
Because a Democrat,
a Republican. Yeah, Elon Musk too apparently was a Democrat. Like, that's unity. Isn't that what the left wants? That's what they've been trying to tell us. We don't have unity. Well, we have it now. But of course, the left wants the left's going to ignore that, and they're just going to be like, "Oh, RFK, he's a fascist or whatever. They say he's a racist."
Is the insult for them?
What's the insult?
They say he's a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, he's a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
Oh, because of the vaccine shit?
Yes, because of and let me give a shout out to the book real quick. So because he wrote this book that I'm going to show on screen right here, because he wrote this book, The Real Anthony Fauci, which exposes all the lies and corruption behind Anthony Fauci, the CDC, and what they were telling us. And a former CIA director came out and said everything inside this book, by the way, is true about Anthony Fauci and the CDC and the lockdowns of 2020. So I suggest that's a great read if you guys are interested in it. And there's also video of it as well that you could get on DVDs as well if you know where to look. But yeah, if they call them a conspiracy because this book exposes them and their lies, and it's a New York Times bestseller, and they don't like that. And they don't like that he doesn't keep his mouth shut, so they tried to censor his freedom of speech.
Yeah, of course. Like I wasn't, I know you've been following RFK's campaign for like the longest. I wasn't really following that much of his campaign. I heard some, he has said some like things that made sense. Like like a lot of things he said like triggered the left. So like I was thinking it was only a matter of time before he
like that
would join forces with Trump.
They didn't like that he was doing bipartisan ideals. They didn't like that he presented a challenge to their guy Joe Biden. Because remember, at one point, this was back when Joe Biden.
Yeah, I remember that.
The two, RFK was up at like 15% or more in most of the polls. Like Quinnipiac, I mean, I was shocked. I was like, Quinnipiac had him at 19%, and there were state level polls that had him as high as like 22%. So he was doing extremely well for a third-party candidate, the best since Ross Perot. But what did the Democrats do? Well, first they censored him on social media, shadow banned his content when he put it out for his even for his presidential run. It really was distributed. It wasn't sent to his content wasn't recommended to the right people, to the right fan bases, and instead it just kind of stayed in his own sort of echo chamber. And then other things they did, which didn't help as well, is they created up these fake smear campaigns, like the whale story that they came up with recently. They come up with these fake smear campaigns with the dirt sheet medias or stories from 10 years ago, like the bear story or the brainworm thing. And they come up with those, and they basically defame the character that way of what he's going to do. They took clips of him instead of actually showing full speeches and try to make him sound like a crazy guy on TV. And then after that, they kept him from getting on the debate stage, even though he had gone and met the threshold that they asked for. He was successful in 5 polls, and they cut 3 of them away for no reason. Well, that didn't make any sense, did it?
Yeah. I don't get it, Skip.
It doesn't make any sense, Skip. It's not right. And so they did that. They did that to him, and then they continued to do the same old things. And then they kept putting on the pressure and kept trying to shadow ban and silence and suppress and censor. And then Kamala Harris drops out, Trump gets shot at, and it's the entire political system got all shooken up basically by those 2 events really happening. Convention happens, and then turns out they're not going to let RFK Jr. speak on the ABC stage, and there's sabotage inside the campaigns and lawfare that fails. RFK Jr.'s campaign doesn't work in New York. And then he says, well, the Democrats have put all these hurdles in the way. It wasn't the Republicans. It was the Democrats putting all these hurdles in the way for my campaign. And it can go either way at this point. The election was so close in the polls. It was literally like a 1-point difference between Kamala and Trump. So he said, I'm going to drop out, give a chunk of that fan base over to Trump, and actually try to win. Actually try to get these policies involved. And it seems like that's what they're doing now. Even J.D. Vance at the debates the other night mentioned RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard and the Unity Party.
Yeah. Like unity.
Yeah, unity.
The left is, the left has been, they've been telling us, that we're so divided, that Trump is dividing us, but like he's proven to do the exact opposite.
Yeah.
A lot of people have woken up, but I feel like, why aren't there more people waking up? There's still people listening to the fucking lies.
Yeah. I think people they watch too much dirt sheet media, and there's a lot of NPCs out there as well. You have to realize the thing about the Kamala campaign is a lot of the hype is manufactured. It's easy to make yourself look popular on the internet, especially if you have the money the DNC does. You can pay people to make comments on social media supporting your campaign pretty easily. You can also just have bots, like Subbot, for example, is something that Kamala has been, I'm pretty damn sure she's been guilty of doing based on
bots,
faceless bots.
Celebrities, fuckers like Taylor Swift and shit.
She takes advantage
of course, they're using
voters.
Celebrities.
If Kamala Harris has any shot of winning, it's because she's going to convince enough dumb voters to vote for her. She's going to
that's the scary part.
Have people who worship Taylor Swift and celebrities like LeBron James and Beyonce and Lil Jon.
Yeah, fucking Steph Curry.
Yeah.
A bunch of them, yeah. Sadly, there are people like that. There are people that, I don't know, they think these celebrities fucking know it all.
Yeah.
Even though they're fucking, these celebrities don't give a shit about you. They're fucking rich. They're fucking, they have billions, millions of dollars. They're, they're the inflation, it doesn't affect them. It doesn't affect them at all.
Yeah. They have a bottomless credit card that they can spend whatever they want on.
Yeah, exactly.
Then buy their third private jet. They don't care.
Yeah. They're fucking, the fucking mansion, the private jets, and their fucking fancy cars and shit. They don't, they don't live the same life we do. The inflation doesn't hit them like it hits us.
People like Oprah Winfrey have the audacity to ask you, the average citizen, to donate to Lahaina when they could be donating.
Yeah, to Lahaina. Yeah, The Rock too. Like, I'm a fan of The Rock as a wrestler, but that was pretty shitty by Oprah and The Rock.
Low stoop for The Rock.
Yeah, it was Oprah and The Rock, they could literally pay for the whole fucking thing.
Yeah. But they decide
out of their own pockets.
I'm just gonna ask people, random regular people on the internet, to donate to the Lahaina instead.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up, you ask me.
Like, you seriously don't think The Rock...
Like, these celebrities...
Hey, I'll donate
The Rock
to this charity that will help out. Right? $1 million is like...
Dude, Dak Prescott would be able to pay for the whole thing.
Yeah, easily.
What you're saying?
I was saying, like...
You guys making $60 million a year.
To The Rock, $1 million is like, for you and me, like $100,
Yeah. That's nothing for him. The guy's fucking, a billionaire. Oprah Winfrey's a billionaire.
Yeah. They're filthy rich. Yeah, it's just trash how they actually tried to do that. That was kind of weird.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah,
it's like,
I think...
Really?
I think Kamala Harris is going to lose the election. I think she's not going to do very well.
I fucking hope so. I hope they don't pull any fucking shenanigans like they did in 2020.
Yeah. I'd
or fucking worse, the assassination attempts.
Yeah.
There's already been like 3.
Yeah, 3. There's that guy.
There's already been 3,
Two.
The bombs and shit. The bombs at the Trump rally, apparently.
Oh, yeah. Well, don't forget, technically 4, there's that guy who tried to jump the barricade, too, at an indoor rally.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that too. That dummy.
So 4 attempted assassinations already on him.
It's like, we're like 30-something days away. Hopefully we go through those days without, hopefully Trump goes through those 30-something days.
Well, Joe Biden has been telling him to lay off of Trump, though. It seems like he's been saying that the Secret Service has to give more attention to Trump. So thanks, Joe Biden.
I think he's just saying that.
Time.
I think he's just saying that so that to like cover his tracks and shit. To be like, see, we care. They can be like, see, we care about Trump's safety.
Yeah,
It wasn't us.
it's plausible.
Just like when
It's called plausible
I don't know, like
ability. That's why.
like I can't prove it. You know, if you ask me, in my opinion, the left, the elites, they had something to do with the assassination attempts. If you ask me, I can't prove it, but that's my opinion.
Well, yeah. I mean, is there anything else you wanted to say to wrap up this stream, bro?
Oh well, check out, guys watching this video. Check out UFC on this Saturday. It's gonna be a good one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Stay tuned for the next stream.
Yep. We'll be doing another podcast in the future for certain, man. And guys, check out my friend's channel, Shoes of a Champion on YouTube. You know, he's commented under a few of my videos. So go ahead and subscribe to him as well. He's made a few pretty funny and great videos as well on his channel. Of course, if you guys are tuning in on this channel and you haven't already, again, be sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment beneath the video. Let me know how you guys thought of this podcast, this long form discussion with Shoes of a Champion tonight. And yeah, of course, be sure to subscribe as well so you guys can get notifications whenever I do live streams like this one right here, right now on the Nomadic Cole YouTube channel, because you can't beat that. Isn't that right?
Yes, sir. And that's not an insult. That is just a fact of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.